Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and we are back for more King Arthur's Legends Rise. Thank you to Netmarble for sponsoring this video. I have been grinding away. I'm really excited to come back for some videos on King Arthur after the Christmas break. Yeah, I've made a ton of progress. You can see my level. And in this video, what I want to do is to explain to you some of the things that you need to work on from the start that are not obvious at all. I think I gave you some good beginner tips before. In this episode, it's a bit more advanced, but stuff that you can be working on from day one and being careful about resources because you will need them to make progress. So let's go. So one of the first things that one of the most difficult resources to get, unfortunately, I've been very unlucky here, but with Morgan, who is the first legendary everyone gets, and she's a core to everyone's team. Really, part of what makes her so good, she just spams her A2, right? Her second ability, the triple hitter that pushes back turn meter. Now, you really want to level this up because look, decreasing the attack gauge by 10% with every attack, you can get that up to 20%, up to 30%. You make this move so much better when you put in skill books. I have been really unlucky. I've got 2 skills into this move over here. I've got 1 in here. It's rough. This is very expensive, right? You're going to need the legendary Tomes of Flame that you can only get. You can only do 5 battles a day in Master of the Apocalypse. So what you want to do, this is really important, do not spend legendary Tomes of Flame on anybody else. Only Morgan until you've got this move up to probably level 5. I mean, you at least bare minimum want level 2. Obviously getting into level 5 because it's random which skill it's going to go into is going to take a lot more, but you definitely want level 2. I am in so much pain not having level 2. I'm going to get there soon. I've been unlucky. Save all your Tomes of Flame. Essential. That is essential. Okay. That's tip number 1. Now, I've talked about some of these heroes before. Let's touch on a very interesting hero here, Sarah. I have seen a lot of advice saying Sarah is the best healer in the game. And, you want to make Sarah your healer. I actually disagree. I think you want to make Turin your healer. And a big part of that is that she does cool stuff when the weather is nice, which is really good, right? Why is that really good? Because we also have Morgan. And Morgan benefits when the weather is night. And she does great stuff when the weather is night. So I really like Turin as your healer. Turin also happens to come with her wind relic, which is very good for what we want to do. It is perfect. So I'd recommend making Turin your healer. You still want to level up Sarah, though. You get her frost relic eventually. It takes a while, but you will get it from the adventure moding campaign. And once you get that, you want to level her up. Why do you want to level her up? All you're going to do with her is spam her A1. Spam her A1. Sounds bad. Why would I do that? I mean, yeah, we've got a vigor set on. In fact, yeah, I don't even have a vigor set on her. I have a broken set. I need to fix it. I need to put on a speed set, apparently. I didn't realize that was broken. Whoops. Let's fix that right now. Ooh, here we go. There we go. That's better. Now she's got a speed set. Why do we want to spam her A1? And again, this is an essential resource. Save your rare serpent talismans for Sarah. Once again, I have got the worst luck possible. You want to level up her second skill, her second passive here, second skill. Why? When using skill once, that's using her basic attack, just her A1, it will put buff disruption and attack gauge disruption. So skills can increase attack gauge. This is more important. Target is unable to receive any buffs. Number 1, you need this to be for 2 turns instead of 1, but getting another level in this makes it a 1-turn cooldown instead of 3. Why is this essential? Well, you need it for the most important equipment dungeon, which is the Nest of Iskalig. Here you're going to see me attempting to do it, but this really slows down. You'll see when we get to the boss here. Actually, let me turn the volume down. It's a little bit loud there for you guys. So that should be a bit better. This boss, again, this is your core dungeon when it comes to farming equipment, right? This is where you're going to want to go. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. It's giving you damage sets, which are the most important to have good sets. What is the problem? two ways to deal with the boss. So the boss, very simply, here he comes now. Here we go. So the boss, when he gets a turn, he starts putting buffs on. Why is this a problem? Well, he will keep stacking the buffs and stacking the buffs there. He's got some hit accuracy. He's going to keep stacking them. He's going to gain more and more buffs, more and more buffs. Now he's got evasion rate. He's going to keep stacking it, stack the duration, and it's a nightmare. Now he's got less damage taken. Now he's got more hit accuracy. This is a nightmare. This is where you want Sarah to come in with her A1. There we go. Now she's landed the buff disruption. Now it's going to work well. The other way to deal with it is to use a mark hero, like I've got here. Iwaret, can't never say that name, is a mark hero, mark champion. But they're pretty limited. There's not a ton of mark champions. By far the easiest thing to do is just have Sarah use her default skill every single turn, and every single turn she'll be able to be putting up the 2 turns of buff disruption. You will stop the boss from getting buffs. Like you can see right here, because I've been, number one, a little bit unlucky with getting those skill ups and maybe not focusing on it as early as I should have. It's very difficult for me to actually deal with this boss because he's just going to keep getting buffs. And there, unfortunately, he also resisted it. So yeah, we can beat this boss, but it does take me a long time. Oftentimes, I'm reaching the boss in rage, honestly. Now, when it lands perfectly, when I get the good luck and it lands well, then we actually clear the dungeon. We can clear the dungeon pretty quick. It's not too bad. There's a massive difference. So if you've been doing this, trying this dragon boss and going, man, this dragon boss is just destroying me. Why is it? That's why. He just keeps buffing and buffing and buffing. Sarah is the easiest way to do it. Now, to make her better, you saw we got resisted there, and it's part of what makes her a bad healer. You want to get her with effect accuracy on her necklace for pushing higher levels of the dungeon. You want an effect accuracy belt. I simply only have one for this faction, and it's on Morgan. I've been trying to farm some up and been rather unlucky. We'll get there eventually. But you want to have her like high speed, high effect accuracy. We could possibly put her into an accuracy set as well to help with that. But yeah, we're not worried about her healing. We're not building her as a healer. We are building her to land the buff disruption debuff, and that is essential for that dungeon. So that's a massive tip, and you need to focus on saving up for those skills, right? If you don't have this skill leveled up, it simply won't work. It just doesn't work. You basically need it to be level 3, and just pray it doesn't go into this. Again, another tip would be make sure you've leveled her up enough to unlock the second skill before. Maybe that's a mistake I made. Maybe I leveled up her skill when it was there, and then it gets more expensive. Big mistake. Unlock the skill you need, and then do it. Let's touch on another 2 I've just built 1 champion today, which is Maul. He's great and uncommon. Why is he in there? For his wind relic, it's to spam his A2 because he can put decreased defense. Because I was stuck on the bear. And this brings me to another rare champion that you're going to want to build. Accolon. He's kind of rubbish. He's not good for much else, but one thing he does, which is really, really good, is the A2. Here, Stormy Fangs, 60% chance. And again, it's probably worth getting 1 level into this to put recovery disruption, cannot be healed. Massive. He also does have a skill, and you could level up this skill. Not too much harm in it if you want. It's this one over here where you can put recovery rate decrease for 2 turns. That's fine. It's got a bit of a cooldown. I find that even this unleveled is fine. It works. I have him not leveled up and it works well enough. But you're going to want these champions for the bear. I just finally, by leveling up Mal, beat floor 8 just there for the first time. We'll jump in. As you can see, this is going to be a really long run. Ice. Very important. Very important. Morgan, so what you need to do with this bear, you need to stop him from healing. Very few champions can do it. Very few. Morgan has a fire relic. Why is that a problem? He's ice. Bonus damage versus fire. And she needs 3 vigor to do it. It is very difficult to make Morgan work here. Unless you're lucky enough to have got her wind relic or ice relic, you're going to have a really tough time. Accolon comes in and can keep that recovery disruption on, which is essential. Aldry Slayer, I don't know. But yeah, so we need these 2 things. We also, with decreased defense, again, this is pretty tricky to get. Maul is so good for this. Decreased defense actually decreases the damage that the boss does, which is really, really good. So again, we probably won't do the full boss, and we're just going to, again, target the boss right here. I have also brought in Tristan because I've leveled him up for everything else. But yeah, there we go. The recovery disruption at this point doesn't really matter. But we are just going to be healing up with Turin, trying to keep everybody alive. The attack speed reductions that we're going to put out with Tristan are going to be helpful as well. And yeah, Turin's going to heal us up. Mal's going to decrease defense, which number one, ups our damage. We can actually kill the boss without time running out. Very important. And number two, makes him do less damage. So we do deal more damage. He deals less damage. It's a win-win. We stop him from healing up. And you'll see why in a second. Here we're actually getting a little bit beat up. I'm not sure if my team is 100% for stage 8. As you can see, you might have noticed on the screen, I'm still leveling up their relics and whatnot. But here we go. Decreased defense is on. Here we are. Bam. Recovery disruption, which means after these 2 turns expire, the boss, when he gets to these higher levels, will basically full heal himself from 0 to full, pretty much. Can't have that happen. Now we are super safe. So again, you can see we're wearing him down. It's not a fast run, but there we go. Tries to heal himself. Nothing happens. Job done. Let me pause it. Let me actually see if I will win this one. I'm curious. All right, we're actually coming to the end of the fight. It's looking pretty good. Let's come back in. I think we're good. And like I said, this is floor 8. I'm pretty sure this team can work on floor 10. We obviously just need to, get some better gear on some of these characters, level up the relics a bit more, and so on. But yeah, we're in a good spot. We're making good progress. And there you go. Really important stuff. So, Accolon, bring her in, replace Morgan for this dungeon. That's a nice tip because this was really slowing me down for a long time. But yeah, things I've learned, big things I've learned. Focus on your Sarah skills. Consider her the debuffer. That's going to let you progress in that equipment dungeon. Make sure to save your books, your fire books for Morgan. Is going to make a huge difference. And it feels bad when you don't have it. Again, the skills for Sarah, really important to try to get them into agonizing cuts. It changes how she works. I guess the final tip, I didn't mention, I don't think I've talked about Rosier much before, but Rosier is insane. In terms of your chivalry, getting her to chivalry 8 is essential. I'm so close right now. I think it's totally fine to do K. I've actually maxed out K. I think that's totally fine. After K, I would do Rosier. Number one, you're going to want the stats, like the effect accuracy, the HP percent especially. The defensive stats are really good. But this move over here, instead of just applying bleed, she will now apply bleed. And if they have bleed, she increases the duration of dot. That is massive for, again, the other super important dungeon to farm. I don't know if I've shown you guys my run of this yet. But this dungeon, it's all about dot. You don't need her. I've beaten this without Chivalry 8 on her. If you don't have Lancelot, you can use Anguish. He's a rare. Highly recommend Anguish. I think he's easy enough to build. But yeah, Chivalry 8 on Rosier is going to make her dots work not only much more easily on Gorgos, but it's going to make them really strong in any area in the game as well, because she will extend your dots, and that is essential. You can see we built up loads of dots on Gorgos, but they're all just going to expire now. They all kind of fall off, right? Because we've not extended. So getting Chivalry on her is going to not only power her up, it's going to make it a lot more consistent. And yeah, I've got obviously Vivian and Lancelot. I've got 2 legendaries that you may well not have. But Rosier plus Anguish, your 2 rares, will be MVPs. And especially Rosier is just an absolute machine. So yeah, and that's the one final I forgot to mention, the most important thing to go alongside this. Looks like we've had pretty bad luck here. Hopefully we're going to be okay. It's going to be close this time around. What? Just my luck getting the worst run on camera. It's definitely going to be close. I think we will do it. Without the legendaries, this might have been close. There we go. Great. Fantastic. It's down. It was messy, but we got there. You get her Chivalry 8. It's so much easier if she's Chivalry 8. The final tip, which is something you might not pay much attention to, it doesn't do much, but the shard shop, right? What you do here, come over, and then any extra chivalry you've got for characters you're not using, get rid of them. Same thing with relics. Relics, okay. There we go. There's a bunch of relics right there that I already have. I don't need these. Exchange them. Cash them in. Then you come over to the relic shop, and in here, this changes every day. You can get different relics. And then there's the weekly shop as well. this is where you come in, and this is where you get the relic for Rosier. So look for that for doing that particular dungeon. You're going to want two things. Number one, you're going to want to make it easy. You're going to want the fire relic for Rosier because this A3 is crazy, loads of damage, but also lots of bleed and chance to trigger this hook of death, which is a whole lot more bleed as well. So you want to get her fire relic. You also want to get either the fire, but preferably the frost relic. Had the fire relic for a good while with Dejaret's, but you want to get the frost relic. Why do you want that? It's because it's a good affinity for that Gorgos dungeon, and Dejaret is crazy good. You also do want to level up his skills. This one over here is really good. He's basically giving you a whole bunch of attack gauge boosting, which is really strong. So definitely be leveling up his skill as well. You can see I'm actually pretty close to getting him maxed out. This one's not too useful, I think, but this one is very, very, very good. You want to level up his skills for sure. But yeah, get him the frost relic from that shop. It's going to make it way easier to keep him alive. There you go. I think those are all my key tips, the core tips I've got to give you here today. Game-changing things. Guys, if you've not played King Arthur Legends Rise, click the link in the description or the pinned comment down below to install and give it a go. There's a ton of depth to this game. I've been playing for over a month now, making great progress. I've been loving every step of the way. It has been fantastic. Thank you to Netmarble for sponsoring the video. Again, if you guys have been playing, let me know any of your tips as well. I'm really curious to learn and see what you've been doing to push your accounts on. Yeah, again, check everything down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time for more King Arthur Legends Rise. Goodbye.